Welcome to Mind Changers Podcast. I'm your host, Lamar Blakney, and I got my boy, Mr. Shann Atkinson. Man, what is going on today, my
What's
brother?
going on? What's going on? I'm just so glad it's Thursday because that means we hanging out with our fans. We
Yes, sir.
talking a
Yes,
little bit
sir.
and trying to figure some things out.
All right, cool. Listen, man. So we got an exciting episode. We want y'all to stay tuned because we want to know when America's going to really stand up the right way.
Mind Changers International, changing lives for the better. Our vision is to be a transformative platform that exposes lies and reveals the truth. Mind Changers International, we on a mission, masking the falsehoods with every new edition. We're here to enlighten your mind with this vibration, expose the lies, speaking truth, normal conversations. Mind Changers International, we on a mission, masking the falsehoods.
Welcome back to Mind Changers Podcast.
I'm
your host, Lamar Blakney.
Yeah,
and I got
man.
my soy sidekick, Shann Atkinson.
What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? All right.
Listen, Shann got a lot on his mind today, y'all.
Yeah, I do.
And we're going to break down a lot of good stuff today. Listen, on that episode, will the real America stand up?
Yes, absolutely.
Will the
Absolutely.
real America stand up? And so we got a lot to say.
Definitely. And that is a oxymoron because the real America is absolutely standing up.
Yes,
So,
they are. Yes, they are. So we just want to mess with your head a little bit when we say, will the real
Yeah.
America stand up? But so
Absolutely.
Shann, listen. Okay, we got a lot to talk about. Now,
Mhm.
before we get started, listen, if you're watching our podcast tonight, please
Mhm.
put a comment in the comment section and we are going to address your comment. All right?
Absolutely.
This helps us
Absolutely.
become more engaging to
Mhm.
our audience, and it gets you involved as well.
Absolutely.
So listen, like and subscribe to our channel. We just want to bring you some great content. So Shann,
Yeah, man.
as we talked about this week, man,
Yeah.
Donald Trump has done what we said on 5 episodes he was
Mhm.
going to do.
Yeah, he's already starting it. Yeah, he's already starting it. He's
And
already starting it. Because
let
here
me
we
get-
are right now.
Mhm.
Yeah, here we are right now. We're a little over a week into the election. Trump is now the president-elect.
Uh-huh.
They made sure to let us know that Project 2025 was real, but they've done a little something a little tricky. They've changed the name of it. They've changed it to Agenda 47. So from now on, we'll no longer refer to it as Project 2025. It is now the name has now changed to Agenda 47,
Yeah.
and it is in full effect. When I mean it is in full effect, it's almost. I put it to you this way: I'm impressed by how in full effect it is. I'm scared by how full effect it is, but I am impressed because they are rolling things out. They are writing executive orders as we speak. They are putting the people in place that's going to make this happen.
And you know, Shann, first of all, I ain't afraid of nothing. And I'm going to tell you why I'm
Right.
not afraid of nothing.
Okay.
Whatever going to happen, going to happen.
That's true.
Whether I like it or not. And here's my disclaimer. I don't care who you voted for.
Mm-hmm.
They said America spoke. So
Mhm.
this is where we at. So I'm not mad because you voted for somebody. But I will say this. If it doesn't go the way you planned it,
Yeah.
be quiet. Don't
Yes.
say nothing.
Yes.
You're
Just take it.
responsible. Now,
Just
so
take
you know,
it. Just take it.
so check it out, Shann. You know, now
Mhm.
when I heard about these new appointees, right, Trump is
Mhm.
making, I
Right.
have to say this. America, I'm really concerned. It seems like
Yeah.
he's just picking people who are just loyal to him, which we said
Yes.
this before, rather than
Absolutely.
those who are actually qualified for these critical roles, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
you want me to start it off with with one of those picks, Shann?
Yeah. Go for it. Go
Okay,
for it.
so take the pick, the defense secretary, right?
Yeah.
Pete
Yeah. Defense Secretary.
Hegseth. This guy has
Uh-huh.
no prior government experience, but
None at all.
he's a regular on Trump's favorite TV show, Fox
Yes.
and Friends. So,
Yes.
what kind of message does that send, Sean? What kind of message
And
does that send?
well, what that is it's all of his picks make sense for certain things. Like Pete Hegseth. This guy has absolutely none whatsoever. He served in the military as a National Guard, as a National Guard troop leader. Now, I'm not knocking on the National Guard by no stretch of the imagination. I understand the National Guard has some needs. But if you're going to take a position as Secretary of Defense, you need to be a little bit high up on the food chain in the military, in my recollection, to have a position like that. But I will say it makes sense. And the reason why it makes sense is because he's going to change the way the military looks. He's going to completely change it. And he can't have somebody in that position that is the status quo, because there'll be some pushback. So it definitely makes perfect sense why he put it in there, but it's a dangerous appointee. It's definitely a dangerous appointee.
And so basically, now listen, y'all saw me drink something, right? This is a frosty root beer, non-alcoholic. I know they was like, I know that Joker did just not take it to the head. No, I didn't.
Know, right?
But I took frosty to the head. Now I'm not advertising this company, not, but they are good. Yeah. You can find them at Walmart. Yes. But anyway, Donald Trump just went yes men, right? So he can he can rubber stamp his agenda rather than a seasoned leader who's going to look him in his face and says, "No, Mr. President, we're not doing that, sir. Based off of my experience, this is not what we need to do." Well, Donald Trump don't want that. He wants people to do what he says. Now, hear me when I say this. I don't hate anybody.
No.
I don't dislike Trump. I don't like his antics, his rhetoric. That's what I don't like about him. His rhetoric. I didn't like Kamala. So this was like a bad NBA draft. You ever seen an NBA draft so bad that no matter who they choose, it was just a bust? That's how I feel.
Yeah.
And
so, absolutely.
And so, and I'm gonna let you get to your point, Sean, because this is Sean's show tonight, y'all. Sean got a lot on his mind, and I don't want his hair to fall out. So
I know, right?
We gonna get
it's already about gone.
So we gonna get to it, and listen, and there's the whole plan to create some kind of is it warrior board, Sean, to review and potentially fire generals and admirals. Never in the history of foolery and shiggity have we had a president who wants to fire admirals and generals, and you're not even qualified as a president to tell them if they're good at what they do, right?
Yeah,
so I
definitely. Let's expand on that so that we don't gloss over that. And I'm glad you brought that point up, because it was definitely a point I was going to bring up about him coming in and firing generals and admirals and other military leaders, because he wants military leaders that are going to do exactly what he says. Now, here's the thing. He is the commander in chief. He has every right to fire a general. That is one of his big jobs. He can fire anybody in the military he wants to. So he's not overstepping his bounds by doing that. But the fact that he wants to come in and start just cleaning house in the military, that lets me know that he wants generals that will not push back, because generals most of the time will not. Generals are going to do what their commander in chief does. These men know how to follow orders because they want their men to follow orders. So they're going to follow orders. But that just lets me know that Trump's ideas are going to be so over the top and so ludicrous that these generals are probably going to have to push back. So when he puts the people in that he wants, they're going to be ready to go and do whatever atrocities that he's going to want.
Yeah. And think about this, y'all. Listen, all of our listeners, can you imagine the chaos and the politicization that will cause the military, our armed forces? Hear me when I say this. Our armed forces are supposed to be a political serving the Constitution. They're supposed to serve the Constitution. I'm getting tired.
Yes, absolutely.
They're supposed to serve the Constitution, not the personal whims of a president, right?
No. No.
who is trying to purge, as he used, woke. I've never heard woke said this many times that it's hard for me to go to sleep, Shann, because I can't. I keep hearing woke.
I know.
Think about it. He's trying to purge woke generals. Trump's way of getting rid of anyone who might disagree with him is atrocious. That's the only way I can say.
That's right.
Because he's been fragilistic, expeditious, alidocious, whatever you say. They say back in the Disney world. But he is, man.
And to definitely to just expand on that even more, he's going to need military leaders.
Off on you.
I know, right? Military leaders that are going to make sure this mass deportation happens, because he's going to need the military to do that.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, he's going to have to round up people, put them in concentration camps. He's already put out a bid for companies to come in and build tent cities so that he will have somewhere to house these individuals. He said that publicly. Just go look. Matter of fact, I want everybody that's watching this podcast right now to get you a pen and a piece of paper, and I want you to take notes, because I want you to go out and I want you to look up everything it is we're talking about, because everything we're saying is true. This is not conspiracy theory. We took painstaking effort to make sure that that there is written, there is actually a verbal communication on everything that we're saying, because I don't want to get caught up in conspiracy theory. Yeah. Now, he's going and he's getting companies to put in the best bid to start building these tent cities so that he can house these undocumented workers and these people that he calls the illegals, so that he can have them in one place and he can get them out. And he's going to need the military in place to do that. And we will also touch on something else that later on as we go. He's also going to need the military to go in and conduct military operations in Mexico, because he wants to go after the cartel. He wants to wipe the cartel out. Now, I can't say that I disagree with that, but here's the problem. He wants to send the United States military onto another sovereign state and conduct military activity, and I guarantee you he will not have the permission of the Mexican government to do so. He will not, because that is a logistical nightmare when you start invading countries and start going after what you call terrorists, because then you start getting innocent people caught up in the middle of it. But go ahead.
And who's the innocent people? Our military personnel, our young men and women.
And people that live there. And people that live there that are not even are in the cartel, that are just trying to live day-to-day lives.
Yeah. And here's the crazy thing. They are going to, and Shann, correct me if I'm wrong, he is going to deport, let's say a husband and a wife was undocumented. They had children who are now legal citizens in America. He says, we don't want to split the family up. So even though the children know nothing about that country, know nothing about where their parents come from, he's going to deport the entire family.
Yes.
Nothing is right about that, Shann. Nothing is right.
We can go one step further. If one of the spouses is an American citizen and married this individual to help them get a green card, he's going to deport American citizens, not just what he calls illegals, but he's going to deport American citizens that are married to these individuals that he wants to get rid of.
Because he's so gracious and don't want to break up households.
He's so gracious, exactly.
Now, I got one more candidate to talk about, right? And
okay, go for
this one right here, it made me grow a mustache on the back of my neck. So if y'all see me and I got a mustache on the back of my neck, I just need somebody to edge it up, right? So let's talk about his pick for Homeland Security. Kristi Noem, right? She's the governor of South Dakota. Don't have no experience, but she has no real experience with running for a position as massive as a federal agency that. Plus,
she has no intelligence experience
and plus,
whatsoever.
Shann, she had a lot of controversy. Like they say she killed a dog, right?
Yeah. I remember that.
They said she killed Fluffy. She killed Fluffy, right? She killed Fluffy. So that sounds like. Does that sound like the kind of person you want in charge of a nation's border
No,
security in a
no.
disastrous response. So,
Hmm.
for,
Yeah.
so for me, America, people of the world, it seems like Trump is more interested in rewarding loyalists and setting
Hmm.
scores that he's putting together and
Hmm.
a competent, qualified team to tackle a huge challenge that they are not qualified for. We're going to have people in the pilot seat who can't fly this
Hmm.
plane. They don't
Hmm.
know nothing about the Secretary of Defense. They can't run
Hmm.
Homeland Security. But guess what? He don't want people who can run it. He just want people to
That's right.
do what he want to do. He want
That's
them to
right.
stamp whatever he wants to be done. He just wants you to shut up and do it. Right?
That's right. That's right. That's right.
So
Now, let's go one step further on a cabinet appointee, and this one is probably the most ludicrous out of all of them
bring
currently.
it
And
to me.
we still got a lot to go.
Bring it to me.
We've only got 9 announced, and we got 15 that are open. Um, Attorney General Matt Gaetz. All right, Matt Gaetz, everyone. Let's tell you who this guy is. Matt Gaetz is a senator, right?
Mm-hmm.
Matt Gaetz was currently under investigation of the Ethics Committee for sex trafficking, minors, and drug use while on the job. Now, he was already guilty of having sex with a 17-year-old girl, and he was moving this girl from one state to another. So that's where the sex trafficking came in.
Uh-huh.
He's been under investigation for months over this. They were just about to release all their findings, and he went ahead and he resigned his position as
Yeah.
Senate, which completely killed all of the information that would have come out. And then immediately after he did that, Trump appointed him as Attorney General. This man is supposed to be the federal lawyer. He's supposed to be the lead lawyer of the United States, and this man has nothing legal about him.
Yeah.
He's just in place to make sure he can sign off on everything Trump wants to do. Everything that Trump's going to want to do, he's going to sign off. He's a loyalist. Trump knows this man is diabolical. Trump knows this man was under investigation with a 17-year-old girl and drug use, and he ignored it because they are all criminals. Trump is a criminal. Trump is a scam artist, and he put this man in position solely so that he can get him to sign off on everything that he needs. And that right there is the craziest to date appointee, in my opinion.
And you know, Shann, I get it. People voted for Donald Trump because they were frustrated with the status quo. Yeah, I wasn't happy about everything that was going on with Biden myself, but appointing all these unqualified loyalists is not the answer. It is not. It's not the answer. It's just going to lead to more chaos, dysfunction, and Trump is putting his own interests, ahead of what's best for this country. We need leaders who are going to put country over party, not themselves.
That's right.
And work together and actually solve problems, not create new ones. And, you know, what do you think about that, Shann?
Definitely. They're not out to solve problems. This party is party of destruction. This party is a party of breaking everything that is out there. And the reason why this party wants to break everything the way it is because they've got to get back in power. White supremacists have to get back in power. They have lost power. George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery scared them to death because they lost power. When was the last time you've seen police officers absolutely get the book thrown at them? But it wouldn't matter how egregious they were doing.
Yeah.
It didn't matter what they were doing. They always got off. Those two events scared the crap out of these white supremacists, and that's all that MAGA is.
Yeah.
MAGA is a group, a very organized group of white supremacists. They've taken out the word white supremacy, and they've called themselves MAGA, and they want to make sure that the government is going to always be in their favor because they need it, because they have been watching ever since Obama became president. Things have changed. The
Yeah.
climate has changed.
Yeah.
They got tired of watching beautiful black little girls on Cheerios commercials. They got tired of seeing that stuff. They got tired of seeing the representation of Black America in media and movies. I'm sure Black Panther just broke them. I know Black Panther broke them right there.
Now the NBA broke them.
They got tired of seeing it. African Americans start encroaching onto their threshold, and they said they've had enough. They don't care anymore. They need an individual that is bold enough, that is brazen enough to do the non-politically correct things in order to put them back in power. And they were seeing way too many brown faces moving into their neighborhoods, coming into their jobs, coming into their office space.
Mm-hmm.
Black women of this country have got so successful over time. They are in executive positions. They are running companies.
Mm-hmm.
They are opening law offices and law practices. And they know it's only a matter of time when these black women start bringing their black men along. And they cannot take that. They can't not handle that. So they needed an individual that was bold and brazen enough to come in and just break everything. And we know he's going to break everything because he's already talking about all the stuff he's going to roll back. The DEI positions, the stupid term DEI, that he's going to do away with all that to make sure that nobody can get ahead, that nobody, no person of color can get ahead. They're going to be rolling that stuff back. And we'll get into more later on about the things that they want to implement.
And Shann, they already announced Department of Education. I don't know what the second semester is going to look for our children who are in college. Mine's are out of college right now. But if you got kids in college right now, they're talking about defunding the Department of Education. So that means Pell Grants and all of these government loans.
No, not defunding them. Completely eradicate them.
Yeah,
defunding them means they'll still stay around. They're going to eradicate the Department of Education.
So
and
let me ask
America
this: everybody who voted for this, do you have kids in college, or do you have kids about to go to college? You just signed that for them. That chances are, unless you're going to pay for it, if they accomplish this, it's going to be bad for education. It's going to be bad for teachers. It's going to be bad for everybody. Now, we got a lot to unpack today, right?
Well, Sean, since you brought up the Department of Education, there's some things we got to talk about now too. Let's unpack that too. Everybody, go get you some popcorn, get you a drink. This might be a long episode, okay? It's 8:49. We might go to 10 o'clock. Okay, we might go to 10 o'clock.
Sean.
Right.
Come on.
Now, Department of Education has had its hiccups over the years. Absolutely. There's been it's had its hiccups over the years, but the Department of Education is in place to make sure that every child gets an education that is fair across the board, because it's already, you have private schools and you have public schools. That's already kind of lopsides the whole educational spectrum when you have those two separate things. So in order to make sure that children in public schools that can't afford a private education gets a comparable education to what you would see in private. Now, if you get rid of public education, that right there will allow, well, here's the thing. It goes farther than getting rid of public education. If he had something better to put in place, then maybe we could discuss it and debate it as being okay. But the reason why he wants to get rid of it is because he's trying to do away with woke education. That's the only reason.
He hates the word woke. I don't know why he's scared of woke.
All right. He wants, now I want you to listen to how ludicrous this is. Okay. And this is in a nutshell what he wants. He wants to make sure that we can no longer teach the evils of America, the things that they've done in the past. He wants to do away with education about slavery. He wants to do with education about what was done to the Native Americans. He wants to do away anything that makes them look bad. That's what this whole woke thing is. He wants to make sure that nobody talks about what makes them look bad. And here's the crazy part, America. He wants to do reverse reparation for racial discrimination. And he's saying that if you teach that slavery was a bad thing, if you teach that slavery was even something, that is discrimination against white people today, and that if you do that, he will take away your funding and take away all your grants that you have coming to you to make sure that your children are being taught. So that is literally going to completely change the spectrum of what's going on. He wants to add religion to education. He wants to force teachers to preach, to teach religion alongside regular academic curriculum. He wants to put the Bible back into school. But it's his Bible. His Bible is the only Bible that fits the new criteria. And the Bible has got to have the Bill of Rights and the Constitution in the Bible. If that is not heresy, America, I don't know what it is by putting that alongside God's word. Now, that's the crazy part. So, America, we need to think about this. We need to make sure. We need to stand up. And one more thing, I know I'm running on a tangent.
No, Shann, listen, I told him in the beginning you had a lot to say. Go on, finish.
All right. He wants to change also. He wants to put more trade education into schools. That's not a big problem. I'm okay with that because I understand everybody doesn't want to go to college and some people need to learn a trade. That's not a bad idea. But the problem is when he gets rid of the Department of Education, he's going to allow corporations to come in and decide how that education is going to be administered. And the individuals that he's going to put in place and force into those trade jobs are children that they think are problems, children that are slow learners, children that may have behavioral issues, where the Department of Education protects those children and makes sure those children can get the help they need so they can get the education they need and not just completely forget about them and force them into things that they think they need to be in instead of giving that child a chance. And that's what we're looking at by removing the Department of Education.
Yeah. And then if you got a child who needs a 504 or an IEP, you can hang that up. You can
explain that. Explain what that 504 and IEP is.
So 504 is where you got a child that needs some isolated attention. Maybe they need a little more time on their tests. Maybe they they're struggling a little bit and they get distracted. So you may have to give them a little more time. Your IEP are those who deal with autism, like my son. My son has an IEP, right?
I got you.
So that is for special needs. That is for children who has a unique situation that needs to be addressed in a unique way. But guess what? America voted that this ain't important. They voted that this is not important. They voted that, hey, it is more important for us to hire a felon. Right? Sexist. I won't call him sexist. A felon. A man who don't care about what he say or what he do. And I'm going to tell y'all, I've never seen so many nice white folks before. Shann, they're walking around like, hi, how are you? Yes, it's a beautiful day. Yes, it is. Because the same day and bad day you're going to have, I'm going to have. It ain't going to change just because of the color of your skin. Listen, y'all, I didn't really care who was going to be president, but I knew who I didn't want to be president. And I'm not, if you made that decision to vote for him, I'm not criticizing you because that was your right. You had a right to vote for a person, whether you knew what I knew or you didn't know what I knew or you did know what I knew or what Shann knew. Voting is your right. And we don't have a right to tell you you shouldn't have picked it. All I'm saying is, look, you know what? I'm not going to give my opinion on this. But you know what, Shann?
Yeah, man.
I can understand how. Well, let me go back. It's something funny about this election, y'all. These numbers, there's something funny about them, but You can't
And
talk
we'll
about
get
it,
into
right?
that.
It's something
We'll
funny
get
about it.
into that.
Okay.
We'll get into that on why America voted the way they
Yeah.
did.
And we're going to get to some videos as well. So, Shann, right quick, I want to dive into what I think why Kamala, lost the election, right? From what I gather from reports that I studied from this week from analysts, they suggest that there were a few key factors that contributed to her losing the election. First off, it looked like there was some major dysfunction and in fighting within her campaign. Like they were not together. They were combative with one another. The campaign mentioned that they were finger pointing. People said you did this wrong. You wasn't doing this right. It was issue with campaign leadership and their strategy. There were some analysts that says they didn't even have their strategy right. So apparently there was some real tension and disagreements about how to run the campaign. So some people say, hey, Kamala, you should run it this way. No, you should run it that way. And it seems like there was some serious fundraising challenges, according to reports, right? They said that some of the campaign money was not shifted in areas where it needed to be shifted to, right? And there was a struggle to bring these funding to the forefront, right?
Okay.
So their financial operations was off. Basically, think about this, America. You had 90 days to run against a man who's been running for 4 years. Donald Trump has not stopped running. So how in the hill of beans and a bucket of crabs can you think that you could win a race that you was given, right? You was given 90 days to come and pull a rabbit out of the hat. On top of that, for me, Kamala should have distinguished the difference between her and Biden. I'm not running Biden's race because she made America feel like they weren't going to get nothing different.
Okay.
I'm sick of Biden. Bidenomics, whatever they call it, it was horrible. It did not do this country justice. So for me, this is my personal opinion. I feel that she did not run her race. She made it look like she didn't distinguish between, she didn't have to throw him under the bus, but she should have said, hey, Biden was the president. I wasn't. The campaign I'm running is going to be this. It's going to be that. And top reports suggest that Harris was out of touch with everyday voters. It mentioned something about her not being able to capture the pulse of the electorate. So she really didn't tap into America like she should have. But who could in 90 days? Listen, they took a campaign and threw it up against the wall like rice and hope it stuck.
That's true.
And hope it stuck. And there's the whole thing about her positioning herself as a, how can I put it, an heir apparent to Biden, which apparently backfired on her. And the report says that it seemed like, how can I say it? It seemed like she was more so just trying to be popular. Trying to be the woman. Power. But she didn't have enough momentum. And men didn't buy it. And there were so many commercials out that she never addressed. Like the one about the transsexual getting the surgery. If you look at the real interview, America, that's not what she was saying. She was basically saying, because they edited it. Now, I always told you, Shann, it's danger with that edit button. Because if you don't look at the whole interview, you don't know what was said. She basically was saying that if a person went into prison as a transgender, they should be able to get the medical attention per their situation. She was not talking about paying for no government will pay for a man to have a sex change, especially in prison. You can't get one outside of prison. But people believe that video, but she never addressed it. So there were so many things, man, that, I just, when it came to Kamala, man, she missed so many different things that could have helped her. But 90 days.
Yeah, it definitely. Those are all great points, man. Those are all challenges that the Democratic Party and her presidential campaign went through during that 95 days. Yeah, which is just 5 more days of what you said, the 90. But there was so much to tackle in such a short amount of time. Something was going to get overlooked.
Yeah.
There was going to be some oversight that and there was going to be some situations where you're just going to have to say, I just can't deal with that right now. So I'm going to gamble and I'm going to just deal with this. And I think this is going to get me where I'm going to be. But I can honestly tell you, I believe even if she had the full amount of time to do her campaign, I still think she wouldn't have been elected because there was a lot of issues that she just could not fight. The main thing was that if you look at how many white men voted for Trump versus voted for Kamala Harris, 57% of all the white men voted for Trump, and that left 33% of white men that voted for Kamala. That disparity in itself is huge.
Hey, Shann.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. Keep going. I'm sorry.
All right. Now, then you had the white woman vote, which was it was almost 50, was well over 50%, whereas the white woman, well over 50% voted for Trump, whereas 30 some, 40 some percent voted for Kamala. And then you had that one weird vote, which is the black male, and Trump scored 22% of the black male, which is kind of unheard of for the Republican Party, because most of the time they score in single digits, and they scored about 22% of the black male vote, which was very surprising. I don't know if anybody thought that was going to happen. And when you had those numbers, I just don't think the majority of the men in this country are ready to see a woman lead. I really don't, because you and I both know I deal with men every day that are some of the most chauvinistic individuals you'll ever meet. They're just as nice as you can be. They're guys you would go out to drink with, but when you hear them talk about women, you just know there's no way that man was going to vote for her. And not to mention too, this election was so religious on both sides. You had individuals that you had the white nationalists that we've done a podcast on, and I invite everybody to go back and look at the white nationalist podcast about how they empowered Trump and how Trump empowered them. And then you have on the other side, you have so many men that have a problem with women in the pulpit. You know, those same men aren't going to put a woman in the White House.
Hey, Shann, we got this. I'm going to address this one. Samuel Blue, right? He's trying to justify the man trafficking the 17-year-old. He says a friend of his was doing something with the 17-year-old, not Geets, right? Check us out. If you knew that, then you're an accomplice. First of all, Mr. Sam Blue, yeah. If he knew that his friend was doing that and he was in a position of authority, he is an accomplice to that 17-year-old. Then Sam Blue says moving to the state level is not removing education. The Department of Treasury will handle financial aid as they should have been all along. Sam, you will Blue, that is not true. Check your facts, brother. Then he's talking about this dude tried to support, but this dude is pondering. No, you don't know what you're talking about. So you come on our podcast, you better come with some facts, because you don't know what you're talking about, because what we have are pure facts about what we just stated.
Well, Mr. Blue, as far as you talking about the Department of Education and the Treasury, okay, yes, okay, absolutely. The Department of Treasury, they could absolutely shift over and use that to fund schools, but that's not the whole ball of wax that we're talking about. We're talking about the protections that our children get at the public school level, and the Department of Education is there to make sure that these kids get that protection that they're looking for. The Department of Treasury will never step in and have anything to do with that.
Yeah, but some people just want to. He's rambling. But anyway, let's go to our first video, Shann, because we really got into it. You good?
Yeah, let's go ahead and this video that's coming up right now is showing the double standard that is happening inside the Republican, the whole MAGA candidates, as far as how they are okay with one thing but not okay with another. So go ahead and play that
All
video.
right.
Listen, Melania Trump, let me tell you background. I've met everybody in the Trump administration. I can tell you who the yays are, who the nays are, and this woman is a yay, okay? I got to watch the midterm election results with her. I was the closest I've ever been to Melania Trump, and I had a little conversation with her. She's absolutely brilliant. She speaks like 9 languages, but she gives the press nothing, just nothing. And so they write all these stories about her. I think she is like a secret weapon in the White House. Truly, I hope that she is always the one that's in Trump's ear, because she has very good instincts about people, and she stays away from people that she doesn't trust. All women are like this, by the way. We have very good gut instincts about people, and she's always kind of looking out for her husband. And you just get a sense from her. I guess the best way to describe it, she's very Eastern European. Like, she just has this, she's just cool in a way. Like, she just is very cool and very reserved and very classy. And she is not going to be in your face like, oh, hi, like, I love you, you're so great. It's not going to happen. She doesn't have the fakeness in her. She suffers from realness, just from being so real. The press hates her. She's got to suffer for it, okay? So I just loved this. This is absolutely amazing, and it just really speaks to her character. So there is this custom, in case you're not aware of it, that essentially the president-elect is supposed to come and sit down with the current president in the Oval Office, and then at the same exact time, the First Lady is supposed to be hosting the to-be First Lady, and they're supposed to have tea, and they take a cheesy little picture, and it's like, oh, we love each other, even though, like, obviously they don't love each other at all, particularly in a circumstance like today. And I just love this because somebody in her camp spoke out to the New York Post, and this is the exact quotation that they gave them. They just said, she ain't going. She ain't going. A source familiar with Melania Trump told the Post. And I love this because why should she have to go? And these are the reasons that she listed. She listed it because her husband, as in Jill Biden's husband, Joe Biden himself, authorized, which he was allowed to do as the president, he authorized the FBI to raid Mar-a-Lago, to go through her home and to snoop through her underwear drawer and humiliate them because they just wanted to get Trump. She lives there. Her son lives there. She watched her son have to, what's going on? Suddenly being raided by the FBI, a former president and first lady needing to be raided. I mean, it's an absolute nonsense. So you did this. You snooped through her underwear drawer. I mean, the quotation that the person gave to the New York Post is, quote, Jill Biden's husband authorized the FBI snooping through her underwear drawer. The Bidens are disgusting, okay? Jill Biden is not someone Melania needs to meet, the source added. I mean, where is the gangster music? And so for Melania to say, you know what, I'm not okay with this is so great. And beyond that, another reason that has been listed by some sources is they are saying that Melania was very suspicious when Jill Biden called her following Donald Trump's assassination attempt. Apparently, Joe Biden called Melania, and she said she was so sorry about it. But a couple of days before it, she was on air calling Trump evil, calling him a liar, and essentially doing what I believe is soft signaling to psychopaths that they can harm her husband. Thank you, Melania Trump. I just think this is such a G move. You know what I mean? Like, she is just not someone who is going to be fake. And so Melania Trump, we just give it to you. Honestly, she wins all the awards today.
Shann, please let me say something first.
Go for it. Yeah, go for it, man.
Okay. First of all, she sounds like a teenager defending her little girlfriend. That's what she sounds like. She sounds like a teenager defending, like, my friend is so grand. My friend, she is, you just don't know. She's a diva. I mean, all of that. Yeah. First of all, you're talking about a woman, Melania Trump, right? You're talking about a woman who had an organization called Be Best. That ain't even proper English. Be Best. Like, I want to talk about my organization. Be Best. Be Best. That's crazy. Dude, that's like somebody who can't speak English trying to say a sentence. Candace Owens, I wish she would disappear from media. I don't know why they even give her the time of day, because first of all, she's as you know what? I ain't gonna say what I'm gonna say. Cause I get in trouble,
Okay.
Sean, and then I'll be
Yeah,
like,
you
man, I should
can.
have said that. I ain't gonna do it. Bishop,
All
I ain't
right.
gonna Bishop Parker. I'm not gonna do it. I'm
Okay.
not gonna do it. Okay, go ahead, Sean.
Well, the reason why we decided to bring this video is to show the double standards because Candace Owens has gone in on Kamala Harris as being completely unqualified to do anything. And Kamala Harris has her resume is head and shoulders over Melania Trump. Her
Yeah, bro.
resume speaks volumes. I mean, she is licensed to practice law in 2 states. She was the head lawyer of California. The vice president, a senator. I mean, and she has spent her entire platform destroying this woman and picking apart every accomplishment that she has, going as far as saying she slept her way to the top. I want to know who you are sleeping with, and you can get a law degree. You can be the top lawyer. You can be a senator. You can be a vice president. I mean, I want to know who you sleeping with to get to that point. So she has spent her entire platform destroying Kamala Harris when there was no need to, on the basis of what she was destroying her on.
Yeah.
And then you turn right around and you just praise Melania Trump because she's gangster, because she's quiet, because she's catty, because and not to mention she won't even live in the White House. She's not even a first lady. That's the problem. The woman is not even a first lady.
She won't even
She
hold Donald
won't
Trump's hand.
she won't even move into the White House. She is irrelevant in this entire conversation. There's no reason to even bring that up and make it seem like she's just such a great role model, a great person. She won't. She's not an advocate for her husband. She's definitely not an advocate for her husband because she doesn't. She's not even by his side. So I just wanted to show with that video, excuse me, everybody, the double standards of how you could destroy a woman who has accomplishments and then just praise a woman because she's catty.
Because she's catty. And she's brilliant. I hadn't seen it yet. We're gonna play this next video, Sean.
All right.
Donald Trump says jump 3 feet high and scratch your head. We all jump 3 feet high and scratch our heads. That's it.
I'm gonna play that.
There's
again.
no question he's the leader of our party. So now he's got a mission statement, his mission, and his goals and objectives, whatever that is, we need to embrace it. All of it. Every single word.
Man, let me tell you something.
Yeah. Yeah.
First of all, you just emasculated yourself when you said that if a man tell you to jump, you gonna jump. Let me tell you something right now. The only person that can do that is my daddy, and he dead. Right.
That's right.
It amazes me, Sean.
Yeah. Yeah.
How people just fall to this man's authority. Somebody need to help me understand that. That's some serious influence unless somebody got something over you so powerful. Like Denzel said, they got something over you so powerful.
I know. It's simple. Here it is. It's simple in a nutshell because we saw it the first go around before he was anybody, before he was when he was nothing more than you're fired, when he was nothing more than a television apprentice. So we saw him come on to the scene with absolutely no power, and everybody got up underneath him. Everybody scrambled to and embarrassed themselves and demasculated themselves to make sure they got up underneath them for the one sole purpose, because he's brazen enough to do what they want him to do. They know he is he's the CEO of what they want. He is going to he's going to take the shots. He's going to stand up front. He's going to say what it is they all want to say. He's going to be as crude, as rude, as horrible as they want him to be, and he's going to do it all and take the whole brunt. So I guess I have to give him his props because he is the individual that will take the shots on everything that he says. He won't hide behind somebody else. He'll go right up front. He'll say what he wants to say. He will mean what he means. And I believe that. He means what he means. And everything that he wants to do, he's going to make sure that it's going to get done. But in order for it to get done, all those other individuals cannot question him. They've got to allow him to do it. They've got to, like he said, if he says jump and scratch our head 3 times, we got to jump and scratch our head 3 times, because we want all his policies to get steamrolled through to the federal government.
And you know, the first 100 days is going to be brutal.
It will be.
It's going to be. It's going to be crazy. And
it will be.
America, I hope you have a hat with a band on it, because it's going to make your scalp pop off. The things that he's going to put in place, and it's really going to affect our economy in a way unimaginable. I celebrate our Latino and Mexican brothers and sisters who go out and work hard in those fields. And if he think black folk going back out in those fields, listen, they grow a garden in their backyard before they do that.
Okay.
You know, it's
now. Look, I've got a theory on what I think is going to happen with all this, because you're absolutely right, Lamar. You're absolutely right. If we get rid of millions and millions of South Americans that are in this country, employment is going to suffer. Crops are going to suffer. It's really going to suffer. And I truly believe they know this. They do know and understand this.
It's a plan.
Now, it's a plan, because they know they've got to have somebody to put back in that place. And this is my theory on what I think is going to happen. I think it's going to be you and me. I think you and me are going to be out there doing that stuff. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why I think we're going to be. I'm going to tell you why I think it's going to be us, me and you, me and you.
Come on with it.
Because he has been emphatically talking about the radical left, the enemy within. So he's already painting a picture about people like me and people like you that are completely against whatever it is he has going on. And he is going to start arresting people. People are going to start getting arrested. They're going to start pulling people out of prisons and putting them in the fields. They're going to start pulling people out of prisons and fill some of these jobs. He's going to start locking up his political adversaries, lock up people that are doing podcasts like this, because I do believe at some point what we are doing is going to be criminal. It will be criminal.
He's going to enact censorship. Or he's going to get rid of it.
He's not. He's going to get rid of it because, and I'm going to tell you why he's going to do that. Because he idolizes Putin. He idolizes Kim Jong-un. He idolizes the dictator of Hungary. He idolizes these individuals because he wants to be just like them. All of those men lock up their political adversaries. All of those men put people in jail for speaking up against them. There's tons and tons of situations where they lock up people who speak up against them. And Trump is going to want to do this. He's going to try to enact executive orders, and he's going to try to enact old executive orders and old laws on the book to make sure that he can fill these prisons back up, so he can make sure that he can, when he gets rid of these millions and millions of people, prisoners are going to have to take over all this work. And he's going to need to he's going to have to keep the flow going, because he wants to lock up protesters. He wants to lock up people that talk about him. He wants to lock up political adversaries.
We're basically going to be living in a communist country.
Yeah. And America, I'm not stretched when I say this. You've heard his speeches. You've heard him say all this. This is stuff that has come out of his mouth. You can watch all of his rallies, and everything he says is the enemy within, the radical left, the locking up protesters, locking up the woke, lock this person up, lock that person up. This is not anything that we are making up, guys.
Yeah. So look, we're going to go to that next video, Shann. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
President-elect Donald Trump has promised to make the armed forces less woke, as the term goes, by eliminating diversity training and firing any generals that he believes are supporters of a woke military. Now, As commander-in-chief, he already has the power to fire any general he pleases. So which are the woke generals? A draft executive order reportedly shows how he might identify those generals. According to the Wall Street Journal, Trump's transition team is considering the creation of a, quote, warrior board made up of retired senior military personnel to remove generals and admirals found to be, quote, lacking in requisite leadership qualities. Which qualities are those? Well, the draft ordered, which was reviewed by the Journal, does not lay out the criteria for meeting or failing to meet those qualities. And a transition team spokesperson declined to comment on it. But this outside board would clearly bypass the Pentagon's regular system, signaling, as the Journal puts it, that Trump intends to, quote, purge a number of generals and admirals, woke or otherwise. In his first term, Trump celebrated what he called my generals, but the tone soon changed with many of them. You'll recall General Mark Milley, the former chair of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, has called Trump, quote, the most dangerous person in the country and a fascist. General Jim Mattis, Trump's former Secretary of Defense, said he tries to divide us and called on Americans to reject those in office who would make a mockery of our Constitution. And General John Kelly, Trump's longest-serving White House Chief of Staff, said Trump acted surprised that the military's leadership was loyal to the Constitution and not loyal to Donald Trump personally. One fear now is that this warrior board, if created, could shift that loyalty. Another is that trust in the military, our most trusted institution, itself could suffer.
Man, that's,
Yeah.
this thing, this thing is getting real. But America stood up. And this is what America chose.
That's right.
It is what it has become.
Yes.
This is going to get really, really dirty. It's going to get real dirty, and nobody is safe. I don't care who you are, care how much money you got. Nobody is safe under this administration. And we're not going to beat y'all over the head with it. This is the last time I'm talking about it. But you gotta know what we know, because I know you see what we see. Don't act like y'all don't see that and not concerned about what is happening. This man is putting people in place, man, that should not even be. The Secretary of Defense, Homeland Security.
Okay. All right. Also, I want everybody to know this. Trump just met with Biden, which is a normal meeting that they have with the president, just to make sure that the wheels are greased and the wheels are turned between the changing of administrations. And he spoke to Capitol Hill and told them, you can look this up, everybody, that I don't plan on running for a third term unless you guys want me to, because you think I did such a good job this go around and you need something else for me to fix. Now, why would you even bring that up if you're not trying to become a dictator, if you're not trying to become a lifelong leader of this country? That should have never even been a conversation. And to say that to the other lawmakers on Capitol Hill just signals that that's coming, people. That is coming. They're going to try to figure out a way to make this man run for a third term. And that is crazy. It's just crazy. It's
something I want to pull up, Shann.
And there's one more thing I want everybody to know. At least the next 2 years. The next 2 years, MAGA is going to have control of the House. They're going to have control of the Senate. And they're going to have control of the White House. It is the trifecta. They're going to have control over everything, which will help them push things along faster. There won't be any opposition if everybody on Capitol Hill is thinking like that other man on that video where he says we're going to jump and scratch our head 3 times if he tells us to jump. And that is crazy. That is crazy.
Man, I'm looking at this thing where he said we don't need no more votes.
If you want to save America,
No, I'm not even gonna play that. I was gonna play it right quick, but I'm not even gonna play it. But listen, America, I don't know what we can do now because somebody else is in the driver's seat. Somebody that America has put in the driver's seat.
Yeah, absolutely.
America put him there. I didn't.
That's right.
Shann didn't. But America put it in. And I know a lot of people looking at this podcast right now is mad. We're not mad.
No.
America picked him. We're not mad. We're just pointing out the obvious.
I just want you to know what you got. I want to know what you got. And if you are so wrapped up in hating people that don't look like you, if you're wrapped up in hating people that don't think like you, if you're wrapped up in hating people that just don't live the life that you do, and you've thought that having this man in office was going to somehow purge the country of all that stuff that you don't like, I'm sorry, it's not purging anything. I mean, it's going to do nothing but wreck this country. This is going to be a dark 4 years with Trump in office. It's going to be a very dark 4 years. Yep. There's going to be a lot of loss. And here's the thing. There's going to be a lot of loss of life. There's going to be a lot of loss of freedoms. There's going to be a lot of loss of this is going to be a quality of life. There's going to be a lot of loss of just feeling safe in this country for a lot of people. A lot of people aren't going to feel safe in this country about what's going on. And we as Americans and as citizens, we have to revel in making sure our neighbors feel safe. We have to, even if that neighbor is gay, even if that neighbor is black, even if that neighbor is Hispanic, even if that neighbor is an atheist, even if that neighbor is a Muslim, we have to revel in the fact that our neighbors feel safe, because this is the safest country in the world. No matter what you think and the problems that we have on our American streets, go to some of these other countries that are just going berserk with just terrorist organizations cutting people's heads off. We are still the safest country in this world. And if you try to bring that same terrorist to this country, because MAGA is nothing more than a terrorist organization. White nationalism is no different than Al-Qaeda. They're the same exact thing. They want to do harm. They want to incite violence. They want to gather people up. They want a bloody hour to make sure that everybody knows that they're for real. That's Al-Qaeda. That's the same exact thing. Mm-hmm. Al-Qaeda does it for their God, and you are doing it for your God. Plain and simple. You're no different than Al-Qaeda people. Yeah. I'm sorry. I got a little excited.
Shann, listen, man. Honestly, like I said, this was your baby tonight. It's sad that we're living in a country now where people want an advantage because of the color of their skin. They want an advantage because they are unfair people. They want an advantage because they have an opinion about another ethnic group or ethnic groups, and they want to destroy them. That is pure hate. And the Bible says this, that he would turn their tongues against them, and he would also turn their minds and their deeds against them. Watch God work. Keep the faith, keep praying, and watch God work, because he can change anybody's heart. The Holy Spirit can do that.
Yep.
So Shann, you got anything else you want to say before we let this baby go?
Yeah, I'm just telling everybody, just love your neighbor.
Yeah.
Just be nice, man. Come on, let's just be America. I mean, this country has fought tyranny worldwide since its existence. We have fought the evils of this world. We have fought the dark horses that run rampant throughout this world. Let's not turn into that dark horse. Let's not turn into that tyranny. Let's be the democracy that we wanted to be, that we always wanted to be.
All right, listen, until next time, listen, love and peace, grace and peace, and we want y'all guys to be safe.
We told y'all, we came to expose the lies and reveal the truth. We told y'all, we bring in biblical principles of factual truth. We told y'all, we came to expose the lies and reveal the truth. We told y'all, we bring in biblical principles of factual truth.